Thanks for the support as a channel member, Dylan Holiday. Well, the good start to the season continued. We are still top of the league. It has just taken a little bit of a turn in the last couple of matches, though. But we're going to forget about all that for today, because today is FA Cup first round day, the greatest day in football. Hello and welcome to part 20 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we do have a league game actually, away against Curzon Ashton before we get into the FA Cup first round. Since you were last with me, as you can see, we are still top of the league, but it's not as comfortable as it was. We continued our excellent start to the season quite a while, right up until the end of October, but then we got thumped by Banbury, and then we got thumped by Rugby, and if we get thumped again today, we might find Warrington pushing past us at the top of this league. It is kind of a bit of a two-horse race at the moment between us and Warrington. Warrington led by this guy who's scoring all of the goals, and has been for several years. So we need to keep an eye on him. We need to get him to stop scoring goals, really. But that's probably easier said than done. For now, we need to worry about playing Curzon Ashton, and this is the team we're putting out there for that game. We've got Griffin in goal, a back four of Adebisi, Morrison, Parsons and Randall. We signed new players. You can tell it's been a couple of days since I played the save. I'll show you that if I can remember how to use a mouse. I'll show you the players we've brought in. It has taken us just a smidgen over our wage budget. I am going to try and balance that out by loading a few more players out, and hopefully it will come back under control. In fact, I'll show you. It's not a million miles away. Just £1,000. We'll be fine. But we brought in this guy, Romain Mundell, who is a central midfielder and is awesome. He was at Sutton last year on loan. We brought Ryan de Havilland, who is a player I've had in Football Manager games before. I don't remember which saves, but it might have been home last year or underneath in the year before. But he's another option as defensive midfielder. The best option that we've got, can also play in central midfield. He's formerly of Fulham. And we also brought in Jake Garrett, who's a proper left back, who he's played a couple of games in. They were the two games we lost, so dropped him today. He's a proper left back, but I mean, to be fair, he did pick up a knock in the second one of the two, which is why he's not fit to play. But if we win today, then we can assume Jake Garrett is the problem and never play him again. So I already introduced the defence. De Havilland is at the base of the midfield. Mariah Welsh and Mundell, so two new boys in the centre of midfield, and then Ford, Plange and Sati as today's attacking ensemble. Let's get into the match. Attacking ensemble. That should be how all football teams were introduced. I would like that if that became the mainstream way of describing an attack in football. And this is our attacking ensemble. I'd like it. I think we should all push for that to be a thing. Right, we do need... I might get assertive today. I expect you to end our run of poor form with this match, because I do. I haven't even looked where Curzon Ashton are in the league. They just don't sound like a proper football team. And there you go. They're down in 19th place. That feels like a team we should be beating. But they've got a Scandinavian wonder kid in their team. He probably isn't young. He's 23. A Norwegian former under-21 international. To be fair, that's Scandinavian wonder kid by non-league standards. That's not right. They shouldn't be allowed that. And the problem is, I've now clicked on him, so he's guaranteed to score, because that's the way Football Manager works. There's an interest in that player. Let's make him involved in some of the highlights. He's an attacking player. Let's make him score. I know that's not how it works, but we all know that's how it feels like it works. Sati has just scored from the corner. It was a corner that came across, headed into the post, I think, by Plange. We'll have a little look at it on the replay. Mariah Welsh with the corner. Plange, solid header into the post, and Sati is there to pick up the scraps for just his first goal of the season. But balancing that out, he's not been a regular starter. He's very much fighting for that right-hand midfield position with Gibson, with Williams. So he's probably played maybe 8 or 9 games of these 17 that we've played. So it's still a little bit longer than it took him to get off the mark last year. But hopefully now he's scored, he'll start scoring all the time. De Havilland plays it through to Randall. It's a lovely little bit of skill from De Havilland. Randall with the cross. Ford is there and heads just over. So that should be the last highlight before half-time, and it is. So 1-0 at half-time. We'll guard against complacency, because that's what we always do in second halves if we're winning, because again, they're the rules of Football Manager. We all know if you're winning, narrowly winning at half-time, guard against complacency. It's the law, because if you don't do that, the players don't. Oh, he didn't ask us to guard against complacency. I guess we can go out there and be complacent today. Excellent. I was waiting for this opportunity. Plange plays Sati in, and Mariah Welsh has now joined in the attack, and we are swarming forward. And that's probably not how that move should have ended, because it was a lovely counter-attacking move, attacking with pace and purpose. But then Mariah Welsh forgot that he should have scored, and Sati's having a good game today. Randall now with the cross. Ford is there. It falls to Adebisi. Mariah Welsh trying to prove that he can shoot from range. Hits. Apparently it didn't hit the post. It must have been a save, because we've still only got the one piece of woodwork whacking, which was from Plange, that led to the goal. Morrison with a lovely free kick over the top to Plange, whose shot is saved by the Curzon Ashton keeper, who is having a very good game. We've had a lot of chances, and he's made a lot of good saves. Mariah Welsh with the resultant corner. Plange doesn't win this one in the air, but de Havilland's there to collect, plays it back out again, looking for Mariah Welsh, but he was kind of running in the opposite direction. And here is your Curzon Ashton counter-attack through their Brazilian, their Norwegian wonder kid, but it is intercepted, and the move ends, which is lovely stuff. That's exactly what we wanted to see there. Right. Substitution o'clock. We are going to, what are we going to do? I don't really want to take Plange off, but I probably will end up doing it. You know what? I am going to do exactly that. I'm just going to mix up this attack a little bit. I don't want to make Gibson an inside forward, because I'm afraid of what it does to the wing play system. I know he would be better as an inside forward, but he's played on that left-hand side as a winger a couple of times now and not looked massively out of place. But we all just remember how many goals he scored. I think it was 17 goals. I mean, I told you that was going to happen. Tell me that that's not a thing. That's a... I mean... we brought it on ourselves. And it's such a good goal. This game is so dumb at times. Oh, my word. Right, we're going to take off Parsons and bring on Bartley, because that's the answer to all our problems. Show some passion. We're going to push forward a little bit more as well. We're going to go positive, because we should be winning this game. Curzon Ashton are down in a relegation battle, and we're top of the league. Gibson, we might switch him to an inside forward in a second as well, although he's done very well there as a winger. Randall turns nicely, plays t'other Randall in. It's brother to brother. The Randalls have got a goal. This time it's Scott, supported by Richard. I would normally expect it to be the other way round, with right back crossing to striker. Apparently not. The magnificent Randall brothers do the business. That was a lovely little bit of hold-up play from Randall, and an excellent finish from brother Scott. I think his name's Scott. If it's not, it is now. Scott and Richard, I think, is their names. Oh, look, their star player is pulling all the strings. Is that because I clicked on his name by mistake? By mistake. I just wanted to have a look at him. We did get away with that today. We've got to be playing better than that, because we're supposed to be top of the league and they're not very good. Hopefully, this little blip in form is one of those things we've seen many times before in Football Manager, where, oh, there's a big FA Cup game on the horizon. We'll stop concentrating on the league, because that's what happens. So Sutton are up in the National League, a division above us, in a push for the playoffs, but not much more than that. I would like to think we might be able to cause a little bit of an upset here at our place and get into that second round and start gathering up some money, because we need it. We've got not very much money in the... I mean, we could sell the computer that they manage the ticketing system in reception on and double our balance. That's how dire things have got. So we shuffled things around a little bit for the Sutton game. Bartley comes back in at the back, as does White at right back. Buchanan comes into the midfield with de Havilland pushing forward, and Richard Randall comes in to play up front after how excellent he was for the goal that we scored in that game. His brother's probably a little bit upset having scored the goal and dropping to the bench, but you know, I still don't know what my best team is, so I am still regularly just sort of rotating things around, having a good look at fitness levels and paying attention to who scores in the last game. Why am I not playing Randall at right back? You can't have two Randalls starting a match at the same time. It's just one of those universal rules of football, I think. White plays it to Richard Randall, who's got to do the work of two Randalls today. White collects from the mishap, and Buchanan is there to play it through to de Havilland, who's got acres of space to run into. Finds Ford, who nods it down to Adebisi. Ford, lovely cross for Randall, And I would say that's a little bit harsh as an offside decision. Was it offside? I thought it was just a beautifully weighted pass. Oh, he's miles offside the whole time. Does he even know what the offside law is? No wonder it looked like such a good pass. It was passed to the man who stood 4 yards offside. Sheesh. And there's me saying, I don't think that's offside. Why are we lagging all of a sudden? What's happening? Who's making my computer lag? It stopped almost immediately. I don't care for that. Right, time to buy a new computer. I can't afford a new computer. Computers are expensive. Mundell plays it out. It is Mundell, isn't it? To Sati, who plays it into de Havilland. Lovely pass again from him to play forward in de Havilland. Is a good midfield player, and we've won another penalty. Why is Adebisi taking it? I didn't get up there quick enough to change the penalty taker. I assume he's really good at them, and that's why he's doing it, and it's not just default Championship manager stuff from years ago where you've not selected the penalty taker, no one's any good, so just give it to the left back. It always used to be the way, and that felt very much like that, and that was a terrible penalty, and I never want to see him take one again, because that was a big opportunity against a team who are better than us. Lovely ball forward for Randall to chase this time, and Randall does score. It's a 4th goal of the season for Randall, fully justifying being in the team ahead of Plange, who probably needs... I really like the way both Randall and Plange play. They play completely different ways, and I would love to be able to manipulate this system around a little bit to get them both in the same team. Worryingly, for me, it's leaning towards a 4-4-2, so I don't know that we need Buchanan in there. Mundell and de Havilland look lovely as a partnership in midfield. So you could potentially do a 4-4-2 and have Plange and Randall up front. If I end up doing that, how am I going to justify that to the world? Kev, who hates the 4-4-2, does a 4-4-2. But you've got to pick the team according to the players that you've got. And de Havilland's having a brilliant game playing further forward. Buchanan isn't as good as anyone else on this pitch. And we've got Plange sat there down on the bench. So one argument not to do it is they're basically our 2 strikers. We don't really have a 3rd striker at the club. So if we do a 4-4-2, it goes brilliantly, and then one of them gets injured or suspended, or is just having a poor game, we don't have an option to switch things up. I might train one and just see how I feel after I've trained it for a little while, and maybe keep my eye out for a striker or two, a young striker or two we could maybe add to complement this squad. The only thing is, of course, we're way over the wage budget as it is, so it will probably have to be a young loanee, and they're always a little bit of a gamble. Griffin, looking to just waste time really before the half-time whistle goes, which is absolutely fair enough in the circumstances. We're playing a team from a higher level, although Randall is in here and had an opportunity to put us 2-0 up just on the stroke of half-time. We've had 4 clear-cut chances in that first half. Obviously, one of them is going to be the penalty, but we have played very, very well. We've created a lot. Their goalkeeper has made some good saves, but the big headline is we're only 1-0 up, and there's always the fear, no matter how well you've been playing, that if you're only 1-0 up, obviously it's really easy for the opposition to get back into the game. So it would be nice to find another goal from somewhere at some point. Good to see the level of attendance we've got here today as well. It's a bit unusual for Bourne, when you're playing against a team from a higher division, not to be outnumbered, but they've only brought 162 fans. We've got 1,400 here, which is awesome. Randall again with a good opportunity and another good save from their goalkeeper. 5 clear-cut chances now. As well as I seem to think Randall has played, there has to come a point when he keeps missing these chances that you bring Plange on in his place. Although he has been the best player on the pitch, so it'll probably be a little bit harsh. Buchanan heard me say he's not as good as the rest of them, and he's stepped up and now become the best player on the pitch ratings-wise today. We are going to make a couple of changes, though, and just shuffle a few things around a little bit. Why has the team gone in a weird order? Sati is going to come off for Gibson on that right-hand side. Williams is there on the bench as well, but we all love Gibson. Williams hasn't yet become a superstar for us. Adebisi is also not playing great. We've got Garrett down there. If we now lose this game, we know Garrett is cursed, as we speculated before the last match. De Havilland, yes, ease off tackles, because you've had a lovely game. Don't go and spoil it by getting yourself sent off and leaving us in a whole world of trouble. Sutton now coming down this right-hand side. Ford tracking back nicely, making the tackle. Is he going to get sent off here? Because that looked like a good tackle to me. But this is the slow walk that you do for a red card. And I don't see how it possibly could be one. How? Right. How? No. Pressed the wrong button. I don't see how that was a red card. Right. We're going to have to do some shuffling around here. Gibson can go over to that left-hand side. And then I think we'll take off de Havilland and bring on Williams. And do that. Can we drop him back here? Not really. I mean, it's a bit of a weird mutant system. But in the circumstances, I want to have another look at this red card. I know they're probably about to score, but how is this a red card? He's won the ball! Such an old man thing to say. He's tracking back, tracking back, tracking back. Never in a million years is that a red card. How do we get back to the game? Live. There we go. And watch them score. Oh, it goes just wide. Excellent stuff. Right, now we do need to... I don't know, what do I say here? Not tighten up, because I've not asked us to do that tactically, so it would be a crazy team talk. Concentrate, maybe, for the last 5 minutes. No, that's overwhelmed them. Brilliant. They're fired up. We're overwhelmed. Oh, no. Doesn't matter. We won the game. Hooray! People had written us up. 10-man Bourne defeat Sutton from a higher league. That's what I'm talking about. And now it's time for FA Cup second round draw time. And we hope for one of two things. We either want an easy game against a team we should beat. Yeah, I was going to say we should definitely be appealing against this, but this because it's nonsense. Who is... No. What, you can't even ask him to sack his WhatsApp. I think I've already asked him to sack one agent already this season because he's only on like £90 a week, £95 a week. So I think we probably do have to give him a new contract at this point. But you're not having a yearly wage rise, you're not having a promotion wage rise, and we want to knock this down. And you're not having an agent fee. He can have 0 because your agent is a turd. Okay, let's try and please. We're now on more money than he asked for initially. I feel like they kind of got the best of me there. But that's not important. What is important is FA Cup second round draw. And we want one of two things. Either an easy game that we're definitely going to win and get that all-important third round that we've never had before, which would be awesome. Or we want the payday now. We want a big away game. Apparently it was a proper red card. Ridiculous. So Derby, Ipswich, either of those away from home would be awesome. Is there any other big teams in here? Obviously Posh would be fun for me. I'd enjoy that. Who else? I mean Ipswich. So it's Ipswich or Posh. That would be the perfect draw. Ipswich or Posh away, because we either get the big money tie or the big local derby. It'd be nice to get revenge against Lincoln for a few years ago, but we wouldn't. We'd still lose. Sunderland away is the perfect draw because that's where the money is. So Sunderland away, please. Northampton, I'd enjoy playing them because, again, local rivals of Posh. Doncaster would be boring. No. Cambridge, again, local rivals of Posh would be fun. No. Boston, Lincolnshire derby. No. Bristol Rovers, a LOLLUJO derby. No. Derby, a derby. This would be good because this would be a big money tie. They both come out of the hat together. Where's the justice there? Nobody is happy with that draw. Absolutely nobody in the competition is happy. I think every single team currently in the FA Cup would agree to that being redrawn. Put both names back in the hat and try again. Derby don't want to play Ipswich. Ipswich don't want to play Derby. Posh just don't understand why the FA Cup's so hard this year. And all the little clubs are thinking, well, that's all the big clubs gone in one go. Hopefully we'll get Sunderland away now because that's still on the cards. Bradford away is big money. Bradford have big attendances. That I can live with. Draw all teams. Bradford, I think, where are they? Their attendances are pretty sizable. Home game, 14,000. I mean, it's not Sunderland, but that's still going to be a lot of money unless only 2,000 turn up like they did for that Mansfield game. But half of, I mean, we've earned 40 grand for a 1,500 attendance in that last round. If we get half of a 12,000 attendance, that's going to be a couple of £100,000, which is awesome. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. We're in the money. Excellent stuff. And that is what we'll do in not tomorrow's, 2 days' time. Stupid half-term schedule. We'll be back to normal next week. In the next episode, it'll be Bradford. In the meantime, don't forget to buy a Bourne shirt. Link is in the description. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.